Hi, and welcome to the ICO Show. I'm David Siegel. The purpose of the show is to explore and unlock the value of the new token economy. The show is not promotional. I don't endorse any of the ICOs or hold any of the tokens. This is for informational purposes only. Remember, investors, risk is not so bad. It's exposure and overconfidence that kills you. I'm joined today by Enrico from the altcoinfund.com. Enrico, welcome. Where are you coming from?
Oh, I'm in Italy now.
Great. Where are you in Italy?
In Verona, the city of Romeo and Juliet, you know?
Verona. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, tell us about your project.
Yeah. I start to collect contemporary art 15 years ago, buying pieces starting from 2,000 to 20,000 euro. And collecting contemporary art is like putting money on startups. At the 99% they failed. Okay, right. So typically the artist of which I buy a masterpiece go to work to McDonald's. So I lost all the value. And in the last 5 years, I started to invest in modern art, so masterpieces from a price range of 750,000 euro to 1 million euro. Okay. This type of masterpieces are great because they don't lose money. Okay, they don't lose the value, but the value is increased year by year, and we usually start to buy this type of art because I think it is like to buy a financial vehicle. Okay, it's like to invest in a well-established company, and we use 4 types of strategy to increase the value of the masterpiece. Okay, the first and the main strategies is to the geographic arbitrage. So if in UK an Italian artist started to go well, we are in Italy, we buy the artwork, and then we transfer it to UK, and then we sold it. And usually this time takes 12 months. Okay, it is not fast like in the cryptocurrency market.
That is
but
fast.
It is fast. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Just 5 months ago, we bought an Anselm Kiefer. Kiefer is one of the most well-known Germany artists. The price of the opera is 1.2 million euro, and then we are now sold to a Chinese collectors for 2 million euro. So you can make a big money in this type of art.
Your target range is what again?
First, it is near the 1 million euro. Okay.
And then what are your other methods of making money besides arbitrage?
Yeah, we have 4 types of strategies. The first is arbitrage. The second is intrinsic value of artwork. Usually this happens when an artist is not valued in the market, but we know that a big gallerist can take this type of work. The third is the distressed market. Usually when a collector wants to sell an opera or an artwork because the collector wants to move to another country. Okay. Right. And you can make big money in this type of strategies. And the first is the emerging artist, so contemporary art, but we decide to invest less than the 5% of the total amount of the fund on this type of artists, because they can make a very big money, the 100% of return, but you can also lose all the money you put.
Right, sure. So tell me about the token.
Yeah, we decide to link the token with the collection we have. I think that our token is one of the first with a valuable collection of fine art. So it got an underlayer, real underlayer. Okay, so the price of the token is linked to the art we buy and we sold. Okay. And with the art token, you can own a piece of the fund, or you can buy the full artwork already stored in a free port. And this is a good deal for big investors. Okay, Freeport is a tax-free area. Okay, there is one in Lugano, one in Singapore. New York soon, and etc. etc. And then you can buy a masterpiece with a cryptocurrency already inside the Freeport. It is good because you don't pay taxes when you buy that type of art.
Then when you move the painting from the Freeport to your home in New York City, then you pay customs duty or some tax? Or
No, you just pay the VAT. This is the only amount you pay. It's dependent on which country you live. But you just pay the VAT and obviously the transportation.
Yeah. So it's strategically advantage for some investors because they'll find that some collectors, because they will find some art that they want to buy from you at a bit lower than the market rate.
Yeah, exactly. 60 days before we send the artwork to Christie's or to Sotheby's, we decide to put the artwork inside the platform, and then the crypto investors can buy the artwork.
If you have the token. Or
exactly.
Token
our fund is not big because we only want to raise 20 million euro, okay? And we usually sell masterpieces of a value of 2 million euro. So every time we sold a masterpiece, we move the 10% of the total currency. So we expect to have big waves in the stock market.
Can you explain that again, please, the 10%?
Yeah, usually a masterpiece we sold, cost 2 million euro.
Sorry, Michael. Thanks. We don't.
Okay.
I understand. So you sell a masterpiece. You sell a piece of art for 2 million.
Yeah.
What is the business model?
The business for the token holders is to understand that when collectors buy a masterpiece inside the platform, move the 10% of the total token. So we expect to have big waves inside the exchanges, okay? Because the collector must to go on an exchange and buy 2 million euro of cryptocurrency.
Okay, now I'm confused. So first you're going to sell 20 million of token and that
20 million of euro.
20 million euros. And that 20 million of euros is your money to go buy art.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's say you buy some art and then you sell some art and you make, 5 million euros. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if the token holder receives some of that, or the token just goes up in value?
Exactly.
The token holder receives a dividend, or simply the market value of the portfolio goes up?
No, simply the market value of the portfolio goes up.
So then he can sell his token or her token to somebody else at a higher value.
Exactly.
Okay, that's fine. But where does the 10% come in?
The 10% is the ratio from the artwork we sell, okay? Usually an artwork we sell cost 2 million euro, okay? And the total fund is 20 million euro, okay? So if a collectors want to buy that masterpiece before the masterpiece goes to an auction house, okay, the collector must to go on the exchanges and buy 2 million euro of cryptocurrency, okay? So we expect that there will be a move in the price of the art coin, okay? Because there is a request for the art coin from collectors.
The collector has to purchase the artwork using your own token. They can't pay cash.
Exactly.
But
only with the art coin fund.
If you sell through Christie's or Sotheby's, they do pay cash.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yes. Sotheby's and Christie's does not accept cryptocurrency for the moment.
Why do they have to pay in your own token? I don't understand that. Why can't they just pay cash, and that just affects the value of your
okay.
Your portfolio?
Okay, because the price inside the platform was lower than the price of the auction house. This is the difference.
But if they pay cash, yeah, but the auction houses take a large fee, and so you're really saving the fee. I mean, the auction houses charge 20%, right?
30%.
30%. So everybody saves. So I don't get, why do I have to go buy the token in the market? Why can't I just pay cash for the?
Yeah. Usually when you buy this type of masterpiece, okay, it is a problem to pay the artworks, okay, and usually to pay the artwork you may transfer outside Europe, okay. So I think that cryptocurrency is good for big collectors because they can transform their earnings in Bitcoin in an real artwork.
Well, that's fine. Why can't they pay in Bitcoin then?
Because we want that the value of altcoin can move, and then we want that token holders can have an advantage on the move inside the exchanges.
It doesn't make sense to me, Enrico, actually. I mean, I understand that you buy the token, which is a percentage ownership of the fund, and then the fund goes up with the value of the portfolio. But if you sell it to somebody through Christie's, you get cash. But if you sell it to a token holder, it's a different rule. It doesn't, I mean, like I could just take my money and go buy it through Christie's. But the problem, of course, is that I pay 30% more. So that's silly. But why can't I just pay in cash, wire transfer, or Bitcoin? I don't see why.
Yeah, I think that if you are a typical investor, okay, or a typical wealthy guy, okay, you can go to Christie's and buy with cash or with a bank transfer. Okay, great. Yes, but we know that there are a lot of new millionaires in cryptocurrency. Okay, so if you start to mine Bitcoins in 2010, and now you have a portfolio of 100,000 million of Bitcoins, you must to transfer this Bitcoin in fiat before, and then you can go to Christie's, or you can just convert the Bitcoins in our coin fund, okay, and then buy the frame directly in crypto.
It doesn't sound right to me. Because I think in a fund you're asking people to invest in the value of the artwork. You're not trying to ask people to make the price of the token go up just because somebody wants to buy art. These are two very different things. So I guess, I mean, when is your ICO?
The ICO starts on the 1st of December.
So it's coming up pretty soon. I guess I would just say that it sounds pretty arbitrary to me, and it sounds like you're offering good deals on fairly expensive art to people who make the price of your token go up. Like if you have a good sale of a piece of art, that's good for everybody anyway. The token holders should be happy about that because it's a profit, and now you can take the money and go buy another piece of art. But it doesn't, it's great if you have a cash exit.
Yeah, I know. It's great for normal investor, but as you know, in the crypto space, there are not only normal investors. There are also people that want to do the capital gain in just one day. So I think that this is a strategy that they can use to make the real money on the exchanges.
So my suggestion is that you accept Bitcoin, Ether, cash, because you're exiting a position, and then you can go buy a new position. So I don't quite understand that. It doesn't really make sense to me. Okay. Let's move on and tell me, do you believe this token is a security?
No, I don't believe the token is a security,
Okay.
because you with the art token, with the art coin token, you don't buy a piece of the fund. Okay, so you can buy you don't buy a share. Okay, you just take a token to buy a masterpiece when we start to sell it.
Explain that again,
So it's
please.
a yeah,
Say that.
it's a service token. Okay. It's a token that you can use inside the platform to buy an artwork.
But you don't own the artwork, you own a share of the artwork's equity.
No, you don't. No, you own the artwork only if you buy the entire artwork. Okay.
But how is it? But it's still an equity token. You're owning an equity piece of the portfolio.
No. Sorry, there is a mistake because you don't have a no.
Okay.
Read the white paper, but
Okay.
there is not a. You don't buy a share of the fund.
Oh.
It is not limited shares or general shares. No.
Okay. So, I mean, this is your time to explain this. So tell us how it's a service token and not a security, please.
Yeah, sure. When you buy the Artcoin token, you don't buy a share of the fund. Okay, you just prepay a piece of an artwork. Okay, and if you collect Artcoins, you can buy a full artwork already stored in a free port, or you can ask us to bring it to your home. Okay, so it's now so in this case it is a service token. It is not a security there.
I put in $10,000, $100,000, or and I get some tokens. Now, do I get a service for that?
Yeah.
Money. $100,000 doesn't buy me a painting or a piece of art. So
no.
So what do I get for my $100,000?
You just have the token. It's like you buy a voucher from Amazon with your 100,000. Okay, you receive a voucher, and then you can spend the voucher later. Okay, exactly like Artcoin fund tokens.
So it's $100. You're paying $100,000, and later I can apply that $100,000 to purchasing art from your collection.
Yeah.
When I put in more money and buy more tokens.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. With your prepay, we use the funds.
Wait a minute. If the value of the art is going up, then when I purchase some piece of art, it's going to be at a higher value than later.
Yeah.
Than I bought it.
Exactly. In fact, the real idea is to buy the tokens as soon as possible, because I think they have a very low prices at the beginnings.
So I should buy $1 million, but if I buy $1 million and you go buy a painting, and the painting, let's say 3 years later, the painting is worth twice as much, right?
Yeah.
So for me to get that painting, I have to give you buy another $1 million worth of tokens, right?
Yeah.
So why did I lock up my money? I could just pay $2 million 3 years later. How did I benefit?
The benefit is that the Artcoin token goes up. So it is real that you buy $1 million today, okay? But if the token goes up, maybe in 2 or 3 years, they are valued at €2 million, okay?
The tokens.
Yeah, the tokens.
But that's based on the value of the portfolio.
Yes, I say that it is not based on the value of the portfolio, but in the use of the portfolio.
Wow, it sounds like here's your token, here's the line for security, you crossed it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's very near the line. Yes, I know exactly.
It sounds to me like you're over the line. I mean, am I prejudging it? Maybe I have to read the details, but tell me what keeps it from being a security. This is important.
Yeah. So I'm not a lawyer, but my lawyer say that it is a service token and not a security. So I trust him.
but the value of the token goes up with the value of the portfolio. What else?
Because or the request of the tokens inside the markets,
which is based on the value of the underlying portfolio and nothing else.
Exactly.
Nothing else can drive the price of the token up except for people's belief in the value of the portfolio.
Yes, it's not clear, okay, but it is.
This is a really tricky area of law. Are you offering this to Americans?
Oh no, we can't offer to American this type of tokens for the moment.
Is it offered to people in the UK, Europe, Switzerland?
Yeah, exactly.
Everywhere else but America, but the United States. Canadians?
Exactly. Yes.
Canadians, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, pretty interesting. This just brings up all these legal issues. Just for my audience, what is a security? A security is something that people buy in the belief that it will go up in value, and they're like putting a bet that it will go up in value. That's the only reason they're buying it, really, is the increase in value. It doesn't give them anything else. So to say, and there's a test for this, but just to keep it simple, the reason people will buy the token, not your token, a security, any security, is that they believe it will make money for them. Whoever's running the business will make money for them, and then they'll sell it to someone else at a higher price later because it generally increased in value. The underlying business increased in value. In this case, it's really strongly tied to the value of the portfolio. And so I think it could be seen as a security in the UK. I think it could be seen as a security in Switzerland. I don't know actually the European laws, so I'm not sure. Your lawyer may have a better idea of that. But it does sound pretty close to the line, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you plan to do other offerings? Will there be another such token offering for another fund later?
I don't know, because the ICOs are changing very rapidly. True. And I need to understand what is happening in the next 2 months. 2 months are like 20 years in this space.
It's true, but if it goes well and things continue and it's possible to do ICOs and the legal landscape doesn't change much, can you imagine doing another? Then you do like a larger one for the next, if it works.
Yes.
That would make sense. That would make sense.
Yes. Well, we started to raise money from the public because more money you can invest in art and more power you have in the art industry. Okay. Yeah. So if you go to a fair and you just buy 1 million euro of art, you are one of the top collectors in that fair.
Yeah.
And if you are, exactly. And if you have the power, okay, you
get a better price.
Yes, exactly.
That's
okay.
Right.
The art works in this way.
It's especially with the Chinese.
Yeah.
as we know. So it's a really interesting project, Enrico.
Thank you.
I'm very much in favor of tokenizing fractional art ownership. I'm very much in favor of tokenizing fine art in general, and would like to see a lot of these projects succeed. The two sticking points for me here are, one, I don't see why someone should have to buy your token to purchase a piece of art. That seems forced to me. And the other is, boy, it sure sounds so close to a security that people in the UK and Switzerland, at least that I know, should talk to their lawyers before they buy. I hope it works. Fascinating project. You're a smart guy. I'm gonna follow it with interest, and I appreciate you being on the show.
Okay. So thank you very much, guys.
Great. Thanks, Enrico. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. And now next up, I'm happy to welcome Nikola from Lockchain.
Hi, everybody. Hi, David.
Hey, tell me, where are you?
First of all, thank you for having me. I'm very excited, and thanks for this opportunity. We're currently, we just launched the main event of our token sale. We have completed the initial round of the pre-sale, which was successful. We managed to raise approximately $1.7 million US.
Okay, before let's talk about the project. I'm just where are you sitting right now?
Oh, I'm currently sitting in Sofia in in our office. It's actually 6 p.m. here, so it's very quiet. It's very nice.
You're in Sofia, Bulgaria.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, very nice. Okay, so that's where you live.
Yeah, this is where we live. This is where our whole team is based, and we're actually the first Bulgarian official Bulgarian company to make an initial coin offering.
Excellent. Okay, give me your quick summary of the project then.
Okay, sure. So Lockchain.co, this is the domain of our project, is about launching a decentralized marketplace for accommodation in the forms of hotels and vacation rentals. So what we want to achieve is we want to utilize blockchain technology to provide a trustless environment where property owners and buyers, the clients, can conduct deals without having to pay unfair commission on the revenue. The problem that we try to assess is very specific. Our project is very business driven. The problem is that currently established online travel agents like Booking.com, Airbnb, all of the sites that we all use at the moment, they charge between 15 and up to 50% in commission on the revenue that the hotels and the property owners generate.
Yeah.
So from the point of view of the buyer, that's actually most of the clients don't really realize that because they don't have to pay it themselves. But what they don't realize is that they're paying it anyways because this is reflecting the end price of the accommodation.
Exactly.
So our strategy is to build such fair marketplace where we have 0% commission on revenues, and to attract the hotel and property owners. All right, so the problem that we try to address is very specific. Actually, this makes a project very business driven. We're trying to address the problem where there are currently established online travel agents like Booking.com and Airbnb.
Right.
They're charging commissions on the revenue of hotel and property owners between 15 and up to even 50% on their revenue. So this is something that actually most of the end buyers don't really realize because they're just making the booking and they're happy that the site is easy to use. But what they should know is that they're actually the ones who pay this because in order for the hotels and property owners to pay these commissions, they're increasing the retail price.
So for Airbnb, what is it about? 20%?
Yeah, actually, they say we're actually okay. So they're actually charging 20%, but the way that they're presenting it is like they say we charge 3% from the host and 17% from the buyer. But in the end,
it comes from the buyer.
Okay. Yeah, it comes from the buyer. So that's money that doesn't go either to the host or doesn't stay to the buyer. So it's the same thing.
That's right. So it's about, is it a flat 20% at Airbnb?
Yes, it's flat 20%. And I think that in some cities, it's actually, there is some slight deviation from that, but generally it's in this price range.
Okay.
And with Booking.com, it's the same way. It's between 15 and up to 50%.
Yeah.
So actually, they provide a slider where each hotel owner can select the commission that they pay, and based on that, the property.
So tell us about your solution then.
So our solution is very simple. It's straightforward. We want to provide a blockchain-based marketplace which is trustless, which relies on the Ethereum blockchain as a start, to provide an environment where the buyers and the sellers of accommodation can do deals directly without paying any unfair commissions.
Cool.
So we want to make that, and we want to create a company which has the sole purpose of disrupting the currently established model. We get a lot of questions about how are you planning to make any profits if you're not going to charge any commissions. So actually, we're going to plan to implement the freemium model of monetization. This means that we'll have a free-to-use basic service,
right,
and additional upgrades for the users that decide to purchase. So this is on its end is going to be sufficient to fund the company, and our actual goal is to have the marketplace increase in market share to disrupt as much as possible, and this to make up the adoption of the token that we're selling and to increase its necessity.
Well, so first of all, is it all smart contracts? Is it some of it a centralized server?
So so actually our project is comprised of two projects into one. One is the decentralized engine, which is going to be the bookings engine and the database of the properties. Okay. It's going to be based on smart contracts because we have a lot of scenarios where there is a hotel and there is a client, and we have a lot of scenarios which are perfect for smart contracts. For example, you make the booking, and then when you check out, you have a deposit which needs to be refunded to you.
Sure, for the transaction, it makes sense.
For the transactions, the smart contracts are a very, very suitable solution. So this is going to be the core of the engine is going to be based on smart contracts, and we're also planning to have a decentralized database which will be shared and open source. So basically, think of the engine as being a turnkey, open source, and free-to-use solution that anybody can connect and can launch an accommodation marketplace.
So, but all of the database has to be sitting in decentralized storage using a Solidity-based matching engine?
So this is actually the biggest challenge because currently the technology is not really ready for this. So as a start, we're going to integrate the smart contracts that manage the bookings, the calendars, and the rates of the properties.
Wow.
So and the ratings as well.
Wow.
And we're going to put the database in a shared centralized location until we find the best solution to put it in a decentralized place. And our end goal is to provide a completely decentralized engine and database. So the idea is that
so you're going to start with centralized matching and just do the transactions in the smart contracts at the beginning. Is that right?
Yes and no. Basically, the smart contracts and the availability, which is the core of the service, which there will be at the very beginning in the smart contracts, in Ethereum based. As a second step, we're going to also decentralize the content. So, for example, think of it in this perspective. We're launching also the first application that will be connected to the decentralized engine, and this application is going to onboard hotels in the database. So, for example, if we manage to onboard 5,000 properties, this is going to be open source and free to use to anybody who wishes to connect to our database. So, if you wish to start your own marketplace, for example, in 6 months, you will be able to pick up the momentum that we have managed to build in the inventory. So this is our goal, and the engine will operate solely on the lock token that we're selling. And this is the way that we're currently raising funds.
Okay, so the engine, all the matching is done decentralized in Solidity, in smart contracts.
The engine, so the search from the user perspective, from the perspective of the end user, is going to be in a centralized application.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
It has to be super fast. It has to be user friendly.
That makes sense.
And basically, we're very aware of the gaps between the blockchain current technology and between the behaviors that end users have. So this is why we're building not only the decentralized engine, but also the first market application, which will be centralized and will be connected to the decentralized engine.
It makes a lot of sense. So if I understand correctly, your basic database of content is going to be centralized, and people can search, they can see the content pages, and then when they want the offer, they click, and that's where it starts the smart contract. And you would use MetaMask right?
Yeah. Yes. We have actually we have a lot of additional features. So think of it this way: the core of the booking service is one element.
Okay.
The marketplace is the element that creates the bridge between the end buyer and the decentralized service. So in order for this bridge to be effective, it has to be user-friendly. It has to provide all the common features that the end buyers are used to having, like being able to pay in fiat, being able to place reviews, being able to conduct instant search on the properties and stuff like that.
So you can pay with a credit card or PayPal or Ethereum or Ether.
Yes, from the perspective of our marketplace application, we plan to add additional added value features, such as, for example, being able to pay with fiat payments. So what we'll do in these cases, we'll take the fiat money and we'll have an built-in algorithm that will place a buy market order on the exchange where lock is being traded, our token. So we're going to buy the lock with the fiat, and we're going to use the lock to execute the booking.
So only the lock token can be used for payment?
Yes, that is correct.
I see. Okay. And so if I understand correctly, the decentralized part are the offers, once people want to accept an offer, and the back end where the hotel owners or they can input their stuff, and that'll go into decentralized storage. Is that right?
Yes, the decentralized is the offers, the rates, the calendars as well, because that's one of the most important aspects of accommodation.
Why does the calendar have to be decentralized? Why can't you use a centralized server for that? But the calendar says what's booked and what's not for each bed, basically.
Yeah, well, this is a very important question. We want to build it like that because we want this service to have complete censorship resistance. Basically, resistance. Basically, not being able anybody to buy it and to turn it off. That's
I see. Okay, and how far along are you in development?
We've already launched the alpha version, the pre-alpha version of our marketplace. We have currently integrated around 500 properties on the pre-alpha marketplace. They have actual availability and calendars that you can see on our website. And you can actually place a booking request where you can pay with the lock tokens that we're currently in the process of selling on our token sale. So our strategy is to differentiate ourselves from the hundreds of other projects and eliminate any dark period where people just look at a simple roadmap. We want to provide a service which is instantly a proof of concept and where they can immediately spend the tokens that they buy. So we're currently at that stage, and we're also developing the decentralized application, which is going to be the backend, and it's scheduled to be launched around February to March in 2018.
So right now, the alpha participants are able to reserve and pay for and use a hotel room right now.
Yes, they can pay for and reserve a room with their lock tokens, and we're going to use this whole experience together with all of the feedback and all of the research that we're doing to build the architecture of the decentralized engine.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you don't have to build everything in smart contracts at the beginning. So that makes a ton of sense.
Yes.
The ICO is open right now?
Yes, it's currently open. We've finished the pre-sale period.
Okay.
We've managed to raise approximately $1.7 million. And we're continuing towards we're currently in the main event, which is scheduled to end on the 30th of November this month.
So you raised 1.7 in your pre-sale?
Yes.
And now you've started, and this is going to be shown next week a bit later, but so far, how much have you collected in your ICO so far, in your main event?
We just completed the pre-sale like yesterday, so we're 1.7 million.
So it's so your ICO is opening when the first day of the ICO is when? Or it's open?
It's open. The first day of the main event was the 29th of October. It was actually 2 days ago.
So you're getting some money coming in from token people are buying. Now let me understand. First of all, is there a cap? Yeah,
there is a cap. It's actually 32,000 ethers.
Okay.
Our target raise is 20,000 ethers, but our target raise is, so to say, in a very, very high comfort zone for us. So it can be said that even at this point, we have the necessary funds for the development of the technology.
Cool.
So this is what is. I myself have a background of digital marketing, and I'm aware that it's impossible to beat Booking and Airbnb in a conventional way.
Right.
This is why we plan to build a new technology and to create a new kind of supply. So this is something that we're focused on.
Sure, great. So 30,000 ethers, around $10 million. Yeah, right. And that's great. That's a perfect amount. So so now let me see if I come to the site and I don't have anything, I could pay with credit card. I could pay with PayPal. Now,
well, if you come to the site and you click on the market, you're going to see the actual marketplace that we're currently developing. It's a pre-alpha version.
No, that's fine. I mean, when it's going,
when it's going, and when we have the beta version launched, you will be able to come to the site, and you will be able to pay just as in fiat and as in locked tokens.
Yeah, a credit card or PayPal, just like Booking.com. And then what if I have Ether and I don't have any tokens? What do I do?
Well, we will be providing exchange possibilities. For us, it doesn't make any difference if it's fiat or Ethers or Bitcoin.
Right.
The important thing is to provide a user-friendly experience. Our goal is, from a user point of view, to make the only difference in the retail price. So, at their perspective, they'll see an experience which they're familiar with the only difference that being able to open our site and being able to open, for example, Airbnb, and to see that actually our prices are with 20% lower. So that's our goal.
So for a hotel room, you'll see that the exact same hotel room is 20% less.
Yes, that's our point. That's our goal.
That makes sense. Okay, great. Now you'll operate an exchange. And so, of course, if you're trading dollars to tokens, you'll need a money trading license, right? You'll need some kind of banking license. Do you plan to partner with that?
Well, what we plan to do is we plan to create agreements with the end users, and in case they're buying, they're generating reservations, we're going to execute the transaction on an external exchange. We're not going to operate as an exchange.
I see.
At least at this point, we don't have this intention, even though it's not something that is completely removed out of the possibilities. But I think our interest would be stronger in integrating with the established exchange where there is enough liquidity, and basically making a connection through an API module and conducting the exchanges on that already established exchange.
So you will send them off to an exchange to purchase the tokens, come back and finish the transaction at the beginning.
I'll say that we will do that as a back-end process with the pre-approval from the clients, just by accepting the terms and agreements of the service.
Yeah, you have to be careful not to handle their money.
Well, I think it's impossible not to handle their money because we will need to be integrated with the payment processor. If we want to accept credit cards,
right? In some way that the liability is with the payment processor and not your company is not trading. You're not a money trader. You're doing the same thing as Booking.com does. You use the banks, APIs and all that. So
exactly,
that makes a lot of sense. So great. So now, why should I buy your token when if I need to use it, I can just show up and buy it on the exchange and then use it.
Well, of course, because currently is the first to get the best rate.
Right.
General advice. But I would say that I know that currently there is an oversupply of ICOs, and we are aware of that. It's something that we see as a huge problem. I would say that our team is very specifically focused towards solving one single problem, and that's what differentiates us from many of the other companies. We have a very specific plan of action, and we have a very strong token economy. The whole way that we have created the token itself is made with the sole intention of keeping a disbalance between the supply and the demand of the token in favor for the demand. We have a low hard cap when you compare it with other companies. We have a very strong and very reliable model for generating the tokens. Basically, there is absolutely no way to generate the lock token unless there is Ether coming into the smart contract. We have, for example, other companies, they keep the possibility, many of the companies, they keep the possibility to create tokens with a push of a button. This is to give them more leverage when they communicate with bigger investors, because bigger investors, they want discounts. And we can't do that. We can't give discounts because we can't mathematically create the tokens. We need to have a certain amount of Ethers coming in, and that's what's defining the way that lock tokens are generated. And in addition, the whole concept of making bookings means locking some kind of locking certain amounts of money for future usage, because when you create a booking request with the booking.com or Airbnb, and when you're traveling, for example, in two weeks from now, you create the booking right now, so you block the money inside that booking until you check out. And this on its own is also creating this balance in favor for the demand of the lock, because if the bookings rise as a velocity and as a volume, that means that the amount of lock tokens that will be locked into the smart contracts is going to increase as a proportion to the whole circulating amount.
Sure.
So there are a lot of different pieces of the token economy that adds to each other really nicely, and I think that this is the reason why you should consider buying the lock token.
We're not promoting here. I'm talking about just learning. We're just learning, okay?
Yeah.
So
okay, yeah.
Okay, so that's all right. You got it in. So now there's a limited number of tokens. When the sale ends, that's the end.
Yeah.
Right?
That's it. Anything that is unsold from the hard cap will be destroyed.
Destroyed.
Awesome.
Perfect. Great. And when you give me, most of it is open source, then you're adding some extra value-added services. So the open source components, are they going to be owned by Foundation?
Yes, this is our plan. Basically, the governance on the open source decentralized engine will be and should be governed by a foundation that is independent.
Yeah.
And there is going to be some governance, some minimum governance on the applications that could connect to the database, because we want to make sure that there are no scammers taking advantage of that.
That's smart. That makes sense. That's great. Right. So people should realize this is a good lesson to learn. You know, when you have an open source project, you have to think about all the people who will jump in and take advantage of it. And there will be scammers putting up, for example, fake hotel rooms. If you've ever looked for like a flat to share on Craigslist, you've seen scammers, because there are no real people putting anything on Craigslist. So you are really responsible for starting things off in a responsible way, so that it's only legitimate, and you have to vet the people putting properties up, right? And in fact, if you get complaints, then you'll take people off, right?
Exactly.
Take those guys off, right?
Yes, and we also are considering one precaution just to make it as a fail-safe shared database, because the biggest concern is some scammer to put a listing of a property that could be shown on another marketplace. So we would not only govern the applications that connect and make sure that they're reliable and that they're trustworthy and they go through a KYC procedure, but we're also going to limit newly added properties before they get completely shared among all of the applications. As a start, they'll be shared only on the applications that added them in the first place. So this, to a certain extent, will limit the reputation issue and the issue of someone being scammed on the application that listed it in the first place.
You have to build your reputation over time, and people will leave ratings and so forth. So for someone who has just listed a new apartment in the heart of Rome and has no one has stayed there yet, then that's going to be priced a little differently. And as soon as someone, so what happens in the case that the first person going there gets ripped off? Are you going to help them?
So just like with the current online travel agents, the market applications will be able to provide tons of additional added value features. You know, of course, one of them being insurance.
Like insurance
possibilities.
Right.
That's the good thing of having a centralized application, because it's flexible enough to conduct such deals and to provide such added value features.
That makes sense. And what about tech support for an open source? You're going to do tech support?
Well, this is actually part of the money that we're currently raising. It's going to be put into good use of providing a well-documented open source platform, building a community where each of the people which are part of it help each other, and of course provide a tech support to all the applications that wish to connect with.
So it's kind of like Open Bazaar, right?
It's kind of like an open, well,
I mean, yes, Open Bazaar, the project Open Bazaar.
Open Bazaar. Well, I'm not really familiar into details with it, so I can't really comment on
actually
that.
It's pretty similar. Open Bazaar is kind of like eBay for selling stuff you want to sell on, you know. So it's pretty. A lot of those questions you've been answering have been pretty similar. So that all sounds pretty clean. What do you know about competition?
Competition. We currently have one competitor. I wouldn't say that they're specific competition with us, because they're more focused on the decentralized aspect. They're not so much focused on the business, making the bridge between the end buyers and the decentralized. And they're also not completely focused on accommodation. They're also trying to build a system for air travel and other travel. So I would say that we're the first and the only one who are trying to build hotels and vacation rentals marketplace with 0% commission.
Cool. Let me ask you an economic question. What if you raise 5 or 7 million and you burn a bunch of tokens, 10 million, doesn't matter. You burn a bunch of tokens. So now suppose that it becomes popular and people like it and the value of the token goes up quite a bit. Now you'll need to have dynamic pricing on the rooms, right?
Exactly.
So that you'll try to preserve a dollar price or a euro price pretty close, and then you'll just always be translating it.
Yes, exactly. So the pricing of the properties, they are defined by the property owners. And in 90% of the cases, they're not willing to take any chances with price volatility.
Exactly.
So this is why we're going to bind the prices of the properties in fiat money, which is going to be calculated dynamically according to the market price of the lock token.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what the hotels and room providers want is fiat at the end of the day, and you'll give them fiat, or you'll give them those tokens and then they can trade them in the exchange.
It'll be up to the hotel owners to decide.
Okay.
The application marketplace that we're building, one of the added value features, which will be for a small additional cost, would be price spot booking in fiat. Basically, we'll be providing the possibility for hotel owners to have a guarantee that there's going to be zero deviation in fiat from the money that was booked from the end client.
Sure. They can check that box.
Yeah, they can check that box, and in that case, that we'll be charging them some small fee.
Yeah, sure.
And as soon as somebody pays in fiat, for example, we in this case, because the company keeps 25% reserves on the circulating lock tokens. In this case, we're going to keep the fiat in the centralized application, and the application could pay some small fee to use part of the reserves that we currently own, and we're going to use that the lock tokens for the execution of the reservation, and the fiat will be paid out to the property owner, and the market application will receive the lock tokens.
So you have a bit in reserve for liquidity, for market.
Yes, exactly. And if, for example, this liquidity by any chance runs out, there is always the aftermarket. We can, as soon as we get the fiat money, we can sell some lock tokens on the exchange, like to another person, to create a hedged position, and basically to ensure that we'll have to open positions at the same time. So, like fintech companies handle it.
So that's pretty sophisticated.
Well, it sounds sophisticated, but it's something which is already established with fintech companies.
And true. But it sounds like you've really brought a lot of things together, and you've thought it out, and it's pretty smart, and it's already in alpha. So when do you expect to open to the public?
I would say that we're open even currently we're open at the public. That all of the team members, including me and my partner, we're constantly in Telegram, communicating with everybody. We're discussing the marketplace, the properties, the features that are yet to come. So I think this is the good of having a smaller project, because it gives accessibility to the team members, and we're currently open.
Well, this is a really good project. This is, Nikola, this is exactly the kind of project I like to see, because it's a nice, it's a smallish project, has a chance to go big. It's almost all open source. You've got a for-profit model on top of it. You've separated the open source foundation. I mean, you're doing everything really right, and I really applaud it. You'll also burn the tokens that you don't sell, so that eventually the price will go up, but you'll adjust the price dynamically. And so it's, I hope you get a lot of word of mouth, and
thank you very much.
And you go after those big guys, because they are making way too much money. It's really exciting.
Yeah, they made 50% profit for last year, so it's too much.
I like it very much. I think it's a great team, and you have all the right morals and I hope culture, and attitude of you're for the user, and you're trying to disrupt trying to disrupt the industry.
Yes, thank you for the kind words. I get one question. People ask me, okay, what is it in for you after all? And I say, I own my tokens. So if this project succeeds, I will make money from the tokens, and this is going to offset any potential lost profits from the 0% commission that we charge.
Well, you also have a for-profit value-added services business as well.
Yeah, we have value-added services, but that's not the biggest priority for us. Our interest is perfectly in line with our contributors, because we want to see our token. We want to see our token rise in value.
If you're successful in raising $10 million worth of tokens, what percentage of tokens will you own after that?
Currently, 25% of the whole circulating amount is for the team, founders, advisors, bounties, basically people that currently work on it.
And so if you don't raise the full amount and you burn some, then you'll have a larger percentage.
No, actually, the way that we generate the token sale event is we sell a certain amount, and after we finalize, we click the finalize button.
Then you get
based on that amount, we generate the other parts.
And that's built into your smart contract.
Yes, our smart contract is based on the model that basic attention token, which is the Brave.
Sure. And you have had your contract audited?
Well, yeah, we had it audited by a couple of experts in our industry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my partner, he co-founded the software university here in Bulgaria, so they have a huge talent base.
Great, great.
One of our core competence, core strategies as well, to utilize that talent for a project. So we've received a couple of audits, and we've also made sure that we don't deviate significantly from other bits of smart contracts that have already been proven to be, because that's the right way to do it, you know.
Right.
Why take chances? So this is why we based our and inspired our smart contract based on the basic attention token, because
very
that's
smart.
Very
Very smart. You're really ticking all the boxes. I'm impressed and glad to have you on the show. This is Nikola from Lockchain.co. I just have a few announcements for everybody. I think I'm trying to figure out how to get, there we go. Here I can be side by side. That's the show for today. I'd like to thank our huge volunteer team, Ash, Aaron, Andy, Tony, and Will for their incredible hard work. Thanks to Zap Splat for our theme music. Tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time, that's 4 p.m. in the UK, I will have a webinar on tokens, token types, business models, token design. You can find that at brighttalk.com. Just type my name into brighttalk.com. That's where most of my webinars are. If you want to join our team, ask any questions, give us comments, it's the ICO Show at gmail.com. For now, we're just a startup. We're looking for some online community organizers. If you'd like to help, we're going to build an online community and we need help getting that ready. We have two important sponsors, the Pillar Project. Disclaimer, I'm the CEO of both, and we're building the next generation wallets that will become your personal assistant. Pillar, we build wallets. That's all we do. Find us at pillarproject.io. And 2030 is a community of blockchain enthusiasts and innovators dedicated to building the applications and blockchain future at 2030.io. We're actually going to plan our own ICO for early next year. Don't forget, this is not investment advice. Before you make any investments, please consult a qualified statistician. Your investment advisor doesn't know anything about investing. I guess I forgot to ask, is it open to Americans?
Basically, even though it's completely utility-based, we're open to the extent that they can send ethers. And we have an agreement where they can sign, they accept, where they state that they're aware of their regulation requirements, and it's their responsibility to make sure that they're not making anything wrong.
I'm David Siegel for the ICO Show. Stay safe out there.
Bye.